Hello everyone, my name is KingStix and today I have a Jax Jungle Commentary guide for you. Now first off, I want to say Jax is not a staple pick. He's very situational. You only want to pick him if the enemy team is extremely auto attack reliant and has CC that is based off of their auto attacks, like a Twisted Fate stun card Jax can block or a Blitzcrank knockup he can block. I always start E, get a leash from my bot lane at red buff, and then I immediately go to gank the enemy mid laner. Hopefully they're pushed up. If they're not, it can be a little bit more difficult. Use your Q as a gap closer, so try to wait until they flash and then use your Q to close the distance. If you use it immediately, they'll just end up flashing away and you won't be able to do anything. So wait until they flash away, Q, use your E, stun them, and you should pick up a kill. It might not be a kill, but you'll at least blow them out of lane. After you get the kill mid lane, try to shove in the minions. That way when the enemy comes back, they'll have already lost a minimum of 1 minion wave. You'll be getting a lot of golden experience. You'll also be helping out your mid laner. That way they don't have to waste all their mana trying to shove in the wave by themselves. After I do this, I typically like to run over to the enemy jungler's red buff, since they typically start with their bot lane on the blue buff. That way they get the best leash possible. So I'll just run over here, I'll ward it to get vision on them, make sure they're doing it, and possibly try to stop them. So I see Shaco, but he's not starting it and I'm a little low on health. I'm gonna run over here to the scuttle in the meantime, take it to get some gold and experience, and walk back over for the Shaco. Our mid lane's already pushed, so Zilean can freely come over here to help me. Shaco's only level 2. I jump in with Q and E. I know he doesn't have flash, so I just open up with the Q and E and he is dead. At this point, I should have just looked on the minimap. It means Zilean should have either ran south or north. Instead, I was greedy and stayed to take the red buff. If I would have just taken a slight glance on the minimap, I would have realized that Twisted Fate and Camille are both MIA and they're coming to get us. I lagged out a little bit there. If you paid attention, I probably could have gotten away if I would have jumped to the Zilean. I was lagging and checking my ping though, and it ended up getting me killed. If I would have jumped to the Zilean, we probably could have ended up getting away. You really should be ganking a lot and playing very aggressive on Jax Jungle just because of his nature. He's got his powerful CC, easy to use, and a really good gap closer. That is why I don't suggest rushing T-Mat. If you are just going to power farm, rush T-Mat on Jax on your first back. In this case, since I want to gank, I went for the Saber and for Boots of Speed to maximize my ganking power. Going to come up behind Camille. I'm going to hold on to my Q. She starts running away. I wasn't going to be able to catch up to her otherwise. In reality, I should have already activated my E before I jumped. That way I could have stunned her under turret. I didn't realize she was going to run that way, and I was holding it onto my E to use it later because I thought Shen was actually going to taunt her and I wanted to chain CC it. That was my bad. And she's basically impossible to chase. So once she jumps away from you over a wall, there's really no way to actually catch up to her. The only reason we caught up to her was because Zilean cut her off, and I have boots and she doesn't have boots. I should have also taken that into account when I was ganking her. I should have known I was going to be able to chase her down over a short distance since I had boots and she didn't. I'm going to hold on my Q until I can't reach him. Right when he turns away, I then jump on and use my E, stun him. I was hoping Zilean would have double bombed sooner, but I guess it must have been on cooldown. Otherwise, that would have been a free kill. Camille coming back into the mid lane, blowing her teleport. I don't have time to activate my E and I do get stunned, but luckily we get out alive. I didn't have enough gold to go back and get a recurve bow or any other item, so I'm just going to go into my jungle, finish this camp. Camille's a bitch, so she comes over here and breaks my pink ward. I ping Shen down here. Shen does come to cut her off. She doesn't have boots yet, so she still is fairly immobile. She's trying to run away. I'm calling for Zilean to help, and at this point she's pretty much dead. She has nowhere to go. She doesn't have any boots yet, so overall her walking is slow even though her dash is OP. Activate E, use Q to close the distance, and we're just going to finish beating her down. I'm not too worried about going tanky Jax since we already do have a tank on our team, which would be the Shen and a Zilean ultimate, so I feel comfortable going for a Bloodrazor first. I can overall make good use of the damage since, like I said, we have a tank and a Zilean. Bot lane shoving in pretty hard. It's going to be really easy to walk up behind them and then hold on to my dash when they do try to run away. The only reason why I use my dash so early is because I have red buff and I want to get off as many slows as possible. That way it'll give Lucian time to catch up. Lucian ends up running away and not really helping us anyways, so my slows don't pay off that much, but that is the only reason why I use my dash so early, even though I was behind the enemy. And my flash was up, so if they did flash, I could just activate my E and then flash onto both of them. We would have gone for first turret, but all of the turrets on our team are still pretty much full HP, so I didn't feel like it was that pressing of a matter and would have rather gotten Dragon. That way Shaco didn't soul it with his ultimate later on. Enemies' buffs are up and I'm fairly fed, so I kind of want to go into their jungle right now and work on his blue buff. I know we just killed the bot lane and they're on their way over here, so I don't keep chasing Shaco. Otherwise, if I knew his bot lane wasn't going to be here, I would have just used my E, chased him down, and nearly killed him. I'm going to wait over here. I should have just ran away since I knew the bot lane was coming. I see the Shen ult onto the Lucian, so I re-engage. I don't see that Shen doesn't actually complete his ultimate, so it puts me in a really weird spot. And then I throw a bitch fit blaming Lucian, when in reality, Shen teleported from a bad spot and got himself CC'd. Once you can finally afford your Bloodrazor, your 1v1 potential will go through the roof, and your turret destroying power will also be incredibly strong with all the attack speed you now have. If there is nothing on the map to gank and things are going kind of stagnant, feel free to go in the enemy's jungle and counter jungle them, assuming that your laners aren't pushed in. If your laners are pushed in, it's dangerous, plus you should be ganking anyways if your laners are pushed into their own turrets, because that means the enemies are pushed up. So I'm just farming camps, taking the enemy's jungle because I know Shaco can't 1v1 me, and if somebody comes, I can just use my warding totem to jump away over a wall to freedom. Camille is one of the enemies pushing up, plus I also happen to be top lane right now, so I'm going to go ahead and run over there. She doesn't really see it coming. I'm going to jump on her, activate stun, good taunt by Shen, and we're going to hold her in place. She does use her flash, and at this point we can't really chase her down. Really frustrating Camille is. Her dash is on such a low cooldown that it will already be up, and there's just really no way to finish chasing her down. Zilean ult is up, so I kind of want to dive this turret, plus Shen's coming in from behind. I'm going to jump on him to close the distance, activate E, move away from the Shaco box. Camille does drop her teleport, so this is no longer a safe situation fighting 3v3 under their turret. We're going to go ahead and back off now. I turn onto the Shaco trying to get him off of Zilean. Turns out it's the fake. Shen ults me after Zilean ults me, really bad timing. And we're in a bad spot. I'm going to activate E, go onto the TF, block his stun card, beat his brains in, turn onto the Shaco. I would have probably killed Shaco if the Blitzcrank didn't use his ultimate. The main thing is that the Camille teleport caught us off guard, and the enemy bot lane did out-rotate our bot lane. Our bot lane got there really late and kind of lost us the fight in that sense as well. I did go ahead and pick up the team mat at this point because I want to get Titanic Hydra and get a little bit more bruisery. I'm just a little bit too squishy, and Blitzcrank can pretty much half health me if I don't block his knock up. I cleared out my bottom side of the map. I see Shaco is top, so this is a fairly safe time to gank the enemy bot lane. I'm going to run right at them, jump onto the Blitzcrank, use my E to block his E, take him down, move on to the Jinx, smite her, activate my ultimate to take less damage from her and the turret. I probably didn't need to use my flash there. I was just trying to be safe and make sure we got the kill. She did use her heal, which made it a little bit more difficult to finish chasing her down because the speed up on the hill itself. Like I said, with my Bloodrazor, I'll be able to shove down turrets really well. Also, we do have Mountain Drake. I'm going to stay, kill the minions, shove in the turret, work onto the Gromp. At this point, I need to be careful because a lot of the enemies are MIA. Moving on to the Wolf Camp, I see Shaco. At this point, I should have ran away since I saw the bot lane was missing, the mid lane's missing, and now I'm just gonna die. I've already used my Q, my E, I have really no way to escape or block the TF stun. This is a classic example of bad jungling, not looking on the minimap and respecting the enemy laners. I did really want to finish my Titanic Hydra, but I was missing about 400 gold, so I just went ahead, got a recurve bow, and built one part of the Titanic Hydra as well. 2 of the enemies dead and 3 of them are very low. I'm going to run up, shove down this minion wave with my team mat, work onto the turret, break this one, and then move on to the next one because I know the enemies can't contest me. They're all low. There's no point of farming a jungle camp when I could just smash in their turrets. I get about 1 total turret's worth of damage if you count the first one and this one. If I knew 100% that Jinx was alone, I would have just jumped on her with my QE and killed her fairly quickly, but since I didn't know where her teammates were, I was hesitant. I didn't want to get Blitzcrank hooked, knocked up, silenced. That would have led to an instant death, and then me could have gone and taken the Herald. The enemies are playing relatively safe and waiting for us to make mistakes, and when I say us, I mean mostly me since I am playing very aggressive. So since they are going to play so safe, I'm going to take out the Scuttle, move on to the Herald, and they don't contest it at all. That just goes to show how safe they're playing. When the enemies are playing safe, you have to take the neutral objectives. Otherwise, they'll just wait until 30-40 minutes into the game when both teams have full items. The Shaco box kind of killed the engage, but since Zilean did land a double bomb, I'm going to go ahead, jump it on Blitzcrank, Q, auto attack W, activate E to block as much damage as possible. TF does get in a good stun after I disengage. And this is why I do max my E, because I like to re-engage in fights. My E is already back up. Jump onto the Jinx, auto attack Q, activate my E, turn on to the Shaco, and we kill 4 of the enemies with only our Rakan dying. Since 4 enemies are dead, we need to stay and shove in this wave and try to get a turret. I have Herald and wanted to use it. For some reason, Lucian left. If Lucian would have stayed, we definitely could have gotten that turret and left. He just decided that the bot farm was definitely more important. Since I did run this way and Dragon is up, Camille chased in this direction. Zilean caught her out. I jump onto her auto attack W and it's a free kill. I am still low, so the enemies are enticed to chase. I dash to Zilean to barely get out of the way of the Blitzcrank hook. Now I'm going to go back into the fight when my E is up, use my E right about when the TF stun card is going to hit me to bait him, go in onto the TF, kill him, turn on to Blitzcrank. I kind of try to chase him down. I should have been more aggressive and finished him off. And I also should have been more aggressive with trying to kill this Jinx before she killed the Rakan. I was being greedy and trying to hold on to my flash though. The main thing is in team fights on Jax Jungle, make sure you go on the right targets. Also, don't just jump in without your E. You typically want to wait to absorb some of their hard CC with your E and then go in. That way, once you are in, they won't be able to stun you or knock you up. You'll be in there killing them and there's nothing they can do.